Hello, hello. Today we will continue reading through the Dungeons & Dragons Player Handbook in the Classes chapter. Clearly I am in my Doric cosplay appropriately, and I have Mini Doric here right next to me. Let's jump in. Druid. Holding a gnarled staff wreathed with holly, an elf summons the fury of the storm and calls down explosive bolts of lightning to smite the torch-carrying orcs who threaten her forest. Crouching out of sight on a high tree branch in the form of a leopard, a human peers out of the jungle at the strange construction of a temple of evil elemental air, keeping a close eye on the cultists' activities. Swinging a blade formed of pure fire, a half-elf charges into a mass of skeletal soldiers, sundering the unnatural magic that gives the foul creatures the mocking semblance of life. Whether calling on the elemental forces of nature or emulating the creatures of the animal world, Druids are an embodiment of nature's resilience, cunning, and fury. They claim no mastery over nature. Instead, they see themselves as extensions of nature's indomitable will. Power of nature. Druids revere nature above all, gaining their spells and other magical powers either from the force of nature itself or from a nature deity. Many Druids pursue a mystic spirituality of transcendent union with nature rather than devotion to a divine entity, while others serve gods of wild nature, animals, or elemental forces. The ancient Druidic traditions are sometimes called the Old Faith, in contrast to the worship of gods in temples and shrines. Druid spells are oriented toward nature and animals, the power of tooth and claw, of sun and moon, of fire and storm. Druids also gain the ability to take on animal forms, and some Druids make a particular study of this practice, even to the point where they prefer animal form to their natural form. Preserve the balance. For Druids, nature exists in a precarious balance. The four elements that make up a world, air, earth, fire, and water, must remain in equilibrium. If one element were to gain power over the others, the world could be destroyed, drawn into one of the elemental planes, and broken apart into its component elements. Thus, Druids oppose cults of elemental evil and others who promote one element to the exclusion of others. Druids are also concerned with the delicate ecological balance that sustains plant and animal life, and the need for civilized folk to live in harmony with nature, not in opposition to it. Druids accept that which is cruel in nature, and they hate that which is unnatural, including aberrations such as beholders and mind flayers, and undead, such as zombies and vampires. Druids sometimes lead raids against such creatures, especially when the monsters encroach on the Druids' territory. Druids are often found guarding sacred sites or watching over regions of unspoiled nature. But when a significant danger arises, threatening nature's balance or the lands they protect, Druids take on a more active role in combating the threat as adventurers. Creating a Druid. When making a Druid, consider why your character has such a close bond with nature. Perhaps your character lives in a society where the old faith still thrives, or was raised by a Druid after being abandoned in the depths of a forest. Perhaps your character had a dramatic encounter with the spirits of nature, coming face to face with a giant eagle or a dire wolf and surviving the experience. Maybe your character was born during an epic storm or a volcanic eruption, which was interpreted as a sign that becoming a druid was part of your character's destiny. Have you always been an adventurer as part of your druidic calling, or did you first spend time as a caretaker of a sacred grove or spring? Perhaps your homeland was befouled by evil, and you took up an adventuring life in hopes of finding a new home or purpose. Class features. Druidic. You know Druidic, the secret language of druids. You can speak the language and use it to leave hidden messages. You and others who know this language automatically spot such a message. Others spot the message's presence with a successful DC 15 Wisdom perception check, but can't decipher it without magic. Spellcasting. Drawing on the divine essence of nature itself, you can cast spells to shape that essence to your will. See Chapter 10 for the general rules of spellcasting and Chapter 11 for the Druid spell list. Cantrips. At first level, you know 2 cantrips of your choice from the Druid spell list. You learn additional Druid cantrips of your choice at higher levels, as shown in the Cantrips Known column of the Druid table. Preparing and casting spells. The Druid table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your Druid spells of first level and higher. To cast one of these Druid spells, you must expend a slot of the spell's level or higher. You regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest. You prepare the list of Druid spells that are available for you to cast, choosing from the Druid spell list. When you do so, choose a number of Druid spells equal to your Wisdom modifier plus your Druid level, minimum of 1 spell. The spells must be of a level for which you have spell slots. For example, if you are a 3rd level Druid, you have 4 first level and 2 second level spell slots. With a Wisdom of 16, your list of prepared spells can include 6 spells of 1st or 2nd level in any combination. If you prepare the 1st level spell, Cure Wounds, you can cast it using a 1st level or 2nd level slot. Casting the spell doesn't remove it from your list of prepared spells. You can also change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. Preparing a new list of Druid spells requires time spent in prayer and meditation, at least 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. Spellcasting ability. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for your Druid spells, since your magic draws upon your devotion and attunement to nature. You use your Wisdom whenever a spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, you use your Wisdom modifier when setting the saving throw DC for a Druid spell you cast, and when making an attack roll with one. Ritual casting. You can cast a Druid spell as a ritual if that spell has the ritual tag and you have the spell prepared. Spell casting focus. You can use a Druidic focus, see Chapter 5, Equipment, as a spellcasting focus for your Druid spells. Wild Shape. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your action to magically assume the shape of a beast that you have seen before. You can use this feature twice. You regain expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. Your Druid level determines the beasts you can transform into, as shown in the Beast Shapes table. At 2nd level, for example, You can transform into any beast that has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower that doesn't have a flying or swimming speed. You can stay in a beast shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level, rounded down. You then revert to your normal form unless you expend another use of this feature. You can revert to your normal form earlier by using a bonus action on your turn. You automatically revert if you fall unconscious, drop to 0 hit points, or die. While you are transformed, the following rules apply. Your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast, but you retain your alignment, personality, and intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. You also retain all of your skill and saving throw proficiencies, in addition to gaining those of the creature. If the creature has the same proficiency as you, and the bonus in its stat block is higher than yours, use the creature's bonus instead of yours. If the creature has any legendary or lair actions, you can't use them. When you transform, you assume the beast's hit points and hit dice. When you revert to your normal form, you return to the number of hit points you had before you transformed. However, if you revert as a result of dropping to 0 hit points, any excess damage carries over to your normal form. For example, if you take 10 damage in animal form and only have 1 hit point left, you revert and take 9 damage. As long as the excess damage doesn't reduce your normal form to 0 hit points, you aren't knocked unconscious. You can't cast spells, and your ability to speak or take any action that requires hands is limited to the capabilities of your beast form. Transforming doesn't break your concentration on a spell you've already cast, however, or prevent you from taking actions that are part of a spell, such as Call Lightning, that you've already cast. You retain the benefit of any features from your class, race, or other source, and can use them if the new form is physically capable of doing so. However, you can't use any of your special senses, such as dark vision, unless your new form also has that sense. You choose whether your equipment falls to the ground in your space, merges into your new form, or is worn by it. Worn equipment functions as normal, but the DM decides whether it is practical for the new form to wear a piece of equipment, based on the creature's size and shape. Your equipment doesn't change size or shape to match the new form, and any equipment that the new form can't wear must either fall to the ground or merge with it. Equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the form. Druid Circle. At 2nd level, you choose to identify with a circle of druids, the circle of the land or the circle of the moon, both detailed at the end of the class description. Your choice grants you features at 2nd level and again at 6th, 10th, and 14th level. Ability Score Improvement. When you reach 4th level and again at 8th, 12th, and 16th, and 19th level, you can increase one ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. As normal, you can't increase an ability score above 20 using this feature. Timeless Body. Starting at 18th level, the primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. Beast Spells. Beginning at 18th level, you can cast many of your Druid spells in any shape you assume using Wild Shape. You can perform the somatic and verbal components of a Druid spell while in a beast shape, but you aren't able to provide material components. Archdruid. At 20th level, you can use your Wild Shape an unlimited number of times. Additionally, you can ignore the verbal and somatic components of your Druid spells, as well as any material components that lack a cost and aren't consumed by a spell. You gain this benefit in both your normal shape and your beast shape from Wild Shape. Druid Circles. Though their organization is invisible to most outsiders, Druids are part of a society that spans the land, ignoring political borders. All Druids are nominally members of this Druidic society, though some individuals are so isolated that they have never seen any high-ranking members of the society or participated in Druidic gatherings. Druids recognize each other as brothers and sisters. Like creatures of the wilderness, however, Druids sometimes compete with or even prey on each other. At a local scale, Druids are organized into circles that share certain perspectives on nature, balance, and the way of the Druid. Circle of the Land. The Circle of the Land is made up of mystics and sages who safeguard ancient knowledge and rites through a vast oral tradition. These Druids meet within sacred circles of trees or standing stones to whisper primal secrets in Druidic. The circle's wisest members preside as the chief priests of communities that hold to the old faith and serve as advisors to the rulers of those folk. Landstride. Starting at 6th level, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them, and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such as those created by the Entangle spell. Nature's Ward. When you reach 10th level, you can't be charmed or frightened by elementals or fae, and you are immune to poison and disease. Nature's Sanctuary. When you reach 14th level, creatures of the natural world sense your connection to nature and become hesitant to attack you. When a beast or plant creature attacks you, that creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your Druid spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature must choose a different target, or the attack automatically misses. On a successful save, the creature is immune to this effect for 24 hours. The creature is aware of this effect before it makes its attack against you. Circle of the Moon. Druids of the Circle of the Moon are fierce guardians of the wilds. Their order gathers under the full moon to share news and trade warnings. They haunt the deepest parts of the wilderness, where they might go for weeks on end before crossing paths with another humanoid creature, let alone another Druid. Changeable as the moon, a Druid of this circle might prowl as a great cat one night, soar over the treetops as an eagle the next day, and crash through the undergrowth in bear form to drive off a trespassing monster. The wild is in the Druid's blood. Combat Wild Shape. When you choose this circle at 2nd level, you gain the ability to use Wild Shape on your turn as a bonus action rather than as an action. Additionally, while you are transformed by Wild Shape, you can use a bonus action to expend one spell slot to regain 1d8 hit points per level of the spell slot expended. Circle forms. The rights of your circle grant you the ability to transform into more dangerous animal forms. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Wild Shape to transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as 1. You ignore the max CR column of the beast shapes table, but must abide by the other limitations there. Starting at 6th level, you can transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as your druid level, divided by 3, rounded down. Primal Strike. Starting at 6th level, your attacks in beast form count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Elemental Wild Shape. At 10th level, you can expend 2 uses of Wild Shape at the same time to transform into an air elemental, an earth elemental, a fire elemental, or a water elemental. 1000 Forms. By 14th level, you have learned to use magic to alter your physical form in more subtle ways. You can cast the Alter Self spell at will. Fighter. A human in clanging plate armor holds her shield before her as she runs toward the masked goblins. An elf behind her, clad in studded leather armor, peppers the goblins with arrows loosed from his exquisite bow. The half-orc nearby shouts orders, helping the 2 combatants coordinate their assault to the best advantage. A dwarf in chainmail interposes his shield between the ogre's club and his companion, knocking the deadly blow aside. His companion, a half-elf in scale armor, swings 2 scimitars in a blinding whirl as she circles the ogre, looking for a blind spot in its defenses. A gladiator fights for sport in an arena, a master with his trident and net, skilled at toppling foes and moving them around for the crowd's delight, and his own tactical advantage. His opponent's sword flares with blue light an instant before she sends lightning flashing forth to smite him. All of these heroes are fighters, perhaps the most diverse class of character in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Questing knights, conquering overlords, royal champions, elite foot soldiers, hardened mercenaries, and bandit kings. As fighters, they all share an unparalleled mastery with weapons and armor, and a thorough knowledge of the skills of combat. And they are well acquainted with death, both meting it out and staring it defiantly in the face. Well-rounded specialists. Fighters learn the basics of all combat styles. Every fighter can swing an axe, fence with a rapier, wield a longsword or greatsword, use a bow, and even trap foes in a net with some degree of skill. Likewise, a fighter is adept with shields and every form of armor. Beyond that basic degree of familiarity, each fighter specializes in a certain style of combat. Some concentrate on archery, some on fighting with 2 weapons at once, and some on augmenting their martial skills with magic. This combination of broad general ability and extensive specialization makes fighters superior combatants on battlefields and in dungeons alike. Trained for danger. Not every member of the City Watch, the village militia, or the Queen's Army is a fighter. Most of these troops are relatively untrained soldiers with only the most basic combat knowledge. Veteran soldiers, military officers, trained bodyguards, dedicated knights, and similar figures are fighters. Some fighters feel drawn to use their training as adventurers. The dungeon delving, monster slaying, and other dangerous work common among adventurers is second nature for a fighter, not all that different from the life he or she left behind. There are greater risks, perhaps, but also much greater rewards. Few fighters in the City Watch have the opportunity to discover a magic flame tongue sword, for example. Creating a fighter. As you build your fighter, think about two related elements of your character's background. Where did you get your combat training, and what set you apart from the mundane warriors around you? Were you particularly ruthless? Did you get extra help from a mentor, perhaps because of your exceptional dedication? What drove you to this training in the first place? A threat to your homeland? A thirst for revenge? Or a need to prove yourself might all have been factors. You might have enjoyed formal training in a noble's army or in a local militia. Perhaps you trained in a war academy, learning strategy, tactics, and military history. Or you might be self-taught, unpolished but well-tested. Did you take up the sword as a way to escape the limits of life on a farm? Or are you following a proud family tradition? Where did you acquire your weapons and armor? They might have been military issue or family heirlooms. Or perhaps you scrimped and saved for years to buy them. Your armaments are now among your most important possessions, the only things that stand between you and death's embrace. Class features. Fighting style. You adopt a particular style of fighting as your specialty. Choose one of the following options. You can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later get to choose again. Archery. You gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons. Defense. While you are wearing armor, you gain a +1 bonus to AC. Dueling. When you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. Great weapon fighting. When you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you are wielding with 2 hands, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll, even if the new roll is a 1 or a 2. The weapon must have the two-handed or versatile property for you to gain this benefit. Protection. When a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. You must be wielding a shield. 2-weapon fighting. When you engage in 2-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. Second wind. You have a limited well of stamina that you can draw on to protect yourself from harm. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again. Action Surge. Starting at 2nd level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for a moment. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again. Starting at 17th level, you can use it twice before a rest, but only once on the same turn. Martial Archetype. At 3rd level, you choose an archetype that you strive to emulate in your combat styles and techniques. Choose Champion, Battle Master, or Eldritch Knight, all detailed at the end of the class description. The archetype you choose grants you features at 3rd level and again at 7th, 10th, 15th, and 18th level. Ability Score Improvement. When you reach 4th level and again at 6th, 8th, 12th, 14th, 16th, and 19th level, you can increase one ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. As normal, you can't increase an ability score above 20 using this feature. Extra Attack. Beginning at 5th level, you can attack twice instead of once, whenever you take the attack action on your turn. The number of attacks increases to 3 when you reach 11th level in this class, and to 4 when you reach 20th level in this class. Indomitable. Beginning at 9th level, you can re-roll a saving throw that you fail. If you do so, you must use the new roll, and you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. You can use this feature twice between long rests starting at 13th level, and 3 times between long rests starting at 17th level. Martial Archetypes. Different fighters choose different approaches to perfecting their fighting prowess. The martial archetype you choose to emulate reflects your approach. Champion. The archetypal champion focused on the development of raw physical power, honed to deadly perfection. Those who model themselves on this archetype combine rigorous training with physical excellence to deal devastating blows. Improved Critical. Beginning when you choose this archetype at 3rd level, your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. Remarkable Athlete. Starting at 7th level, you can add half your proficiency bonus, round up, to any strength, dexterity, or constitution check you make that doesn't already use your proficiency bonus. In addition, when you make a running long jump, the distance you can cover increases by a number of feet equal to your strength modifier. Additional Fighting Style. At 10th level, you can choose a second option from the Fighting Style class feature. Superior Critical. Starting at 15th level, your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of 18, 19, 20. Survivor. At 18th level, you attain the pinnacle of resilience in battle. At the start of each of your turns, you regain hit points equal to 5 plus your constitution modifier if you have no more than half your hit points left. You don't gain this benefit if you have 0 hit points. Battle Master. Those who emulate the archetypal Battle Master employ martial techniques passed down through generations. To a Battle Master, combat is an academic field, sometimes including subjects beyond battle such as weaponsmithing and calligraphy. Not every fighter absorbs the lessons of history, theory, and artistry that are reflected in the Battlemaster archetype, but those who do are well-rounded fighters of great skill and knowledge. Combat Superiority. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you learn maneuvers that are fueled by special dice called Superiority Dice. Maneuvers. You learn 3 maneuvers of your choice, which are detailed under Maneuvers below. Many maneuvers enhance an attack in some way. You can use only 1 maneuver per attack. You learn 2 additional maneuvers of your choice at 7th, 10th, and 15th level. Each time you learn new maneuvers, you can also replace one maneuver you know with a different one. Superiority Dice. you have 4 superiority dice, which are d8s. A superiority die is expended when you use it. You regain all of your expended superiority die when you finish a short or long rest. You gain another superiority die at 7th level and one more at 15th level. Saving throws. Some of your maneuvers require your target to make a saving throw to resist the maneuver's effects. The saving throw DC is calculated as follows. Maneuver save DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength or dexterity modifier, your choice. Student of War. At 3rd level, you gain proficiency with one type of artisan's tools of your choice. Know your enemy. Starting at 7th level, if you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn certain information about its capabilities compared to your own. The DM tells you if the creature is your equal, superior, or inferior in regard to 2 of the following characteristics of your choice. Strength score, dexterity score, constitution score, armor class, current hit points, total class levels, if any, fighter class levels, if any. Improved combat superiority. At 10th level, your superiority dice turn into d10s. At 18th level, they turn into d12s. Relentless. Starting at 15th level, when you roll initiative and have no superiority dice remaining, you regain 1 superiority die. Maneuvers. The maneuvers are presented in alphabetical order. Commander's Strike. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego one of your attacks and use a bonus action to direct one of your companions to strike. When you do so, choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you and expend 1 superiority die. That creature can immediately use its reaction to make 1 weapon attack, adding the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. Disarming attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to disarm the target, forcing it to drop 1 item of your choice that it's holding. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, it drops the object you choose. The object lands at its feet. Distracting Strike. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to distract the creature, giving your allies an opening. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. The next attack roll against the target by an attacker other than you has advantage if the attack is made before the start of your next turn. Evasive Footwork. When you move, you can expend 1 superiority die, rolling the die and adding the number rolled to your AC until you stop moving. Feinting Attack. You can expend 1 superiority die and use a bonus action on your turn to feint, choosing 1 creature within 5 feet of you as your target. You have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature this turn. If that attack hits, add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. Goading Attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to goad the target into attacking you. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls against targets other than you until the end of your next turn. Lunging Attack. When you make a melee weapon attack on your turn, you can expend 1 superiority die to increase your reach for that attack by 5 feet. If you hit, you add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. Maneuvering attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to maneuver one of your comrades into a more advantageous position. You add the superiority die to the attack damage roll, and you choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you. That creature can use its reaction to move up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks from the target of your attack. Menacing attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to frighten the target. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Parry. When another creature damages you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction and expend 1 superiority die to reduce the damage by the number you roll on your superiority die plus your dexterity modifier. Precision attack. When you make a weapon attack roll against a creature, you can expend 1 superiority die to add it to the roll. You can use this maneuver before or after making the attack roll, but before any effects of the attack are applied. Pushing attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to drive the target back. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and if the target is large or smaller, it must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, you push the target up to 15 feet away from you. Rally. On your turn, you can use a bonus action and expend 1 superiority die to bolster the resolve of one of your companions. When you do so, choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you. That creature gains temporary hit points equal to the superiority die roll plus your charisma modifier. Riposte. When a creature misses you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction and expend 1 superiority die to make a melee weapon attack against the creature. If you hit, add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. Sweeping attack. When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to damage another creature with the same attack. Choose another creature within 5 feet of the original target and within your reach. If the original attack roll would hit the second creature, it takes damage equal to the number you roll on your superiority die. The damage is of the same type dealt by the original attack. Trip attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to knock the target down. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and if the target is large or smaller, it must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, you knock the target prone. Eldritch Knight. The archetypal Eldritch Knight combines the martial mastery common to all fighters with a careful study of magic. Eldritch Knights use magical techniques similar to those practiced by wizards. They focus their study on 2 of the 8 schools of magic, abjuration and evocation. Abjuration spells grant an Eldritch Knight additional protection in battle, and evocation spells deal damage to many foes at once, extending the fighter's reach in combat. These knights learn a comparatively small number of spells, committing them to memory instead of keeping them in a spellbook. Spellcasting. When you reach 3rd level, you augment your martial prowess with the ability to cast spells. See Chapter 10 for the general rules of spellcasting and Chapter 11 for the wizard spell list. Cantrips. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the wizard spell list. You learn an additional wizard cantrip of your choice at 10th level. Spell slots. The Eldritch Knight spellcasting table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your wizard spells of 1st level and higher. To cast one of these spells, you must expend a slot of the spell's level or higher. You regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest. For example, if you know the 1st level spell Shield and have a 1st level and a 2nd level spell slot available, you can cast Shield using either slot. Spells known of 1st level and higher. You know 3 1st level wizard spells of your choice, 2 of which you must choose from the Abjuration and Evocation spells on the wizard spell list. The spells known column of the Eldritch Knight spellcasting table shows when you learn more wizard spells of 1st level or higher. Each of these spells must be an Abjuration or Evocation spell of your choice and must be of a level for which you have spell slots. For instance, when you reach 7th level in this class, you can learn 1 new spell of 1st or 2nd level. The spells you learn at 8th, 14th, and 20th level can come from any school of magic. Whenever you gain a level in this class, you can replace one of the wizard spells you know with another spell of your choice from the wizard spell list. The new spell must be of a level for which you have spell slots, and it must be an Abjuration or Evocation spell, unless you're replacing the spell you gained at 3rd, 8th, 14th, or 20th level from any school of magic. Spellcasting ability. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for your wizard spells, since you learn your spells through study and memorization. You use your intelligence whenever a spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, you use your intelligence modifier when setting the saving throw DC for a wizard spell you cast and when making an attack roll with one. Weapon Bond. At 3rd level, you learn a ritual that creates a magical bond between yourself and one weapon. You perform the ritual over the course of 1 hour, which can be done during a short rest. The weapon must be within your reach throughout the ritual, at the conclusion of which you touch the weapon and forge the bond. Once you have bonded a weapon to yourself, you can't be disarmed of that weapon unless you are incapacitated. If it is on the same plane of existence, you can summon that weapon as a bonus action on your turn, causing it to teleport instantly to your hand. You can have up to 2 bonded weapons, but can summon only one at a time with your bonus action. If you attempt to bond with a 3rd weapon, you must break the bond with one of the other 2. War Magic. Beginning at 7th level, when you use your action to cast a cantrip, you can make 1 weapon attack as a bonus action. Eldritch Strike. At 10th level, you learn how to make your weapon strikes undercut a creature's resistance to your spells. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, that creature has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn. Arcane Charge. At 15th level, you gain the ability to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see when you use your action surge. You can teleport before or after the additional action. Improved War Magic. Starting at 18th level, when you use your action to cast a spell, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action. And that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole thing. And I will see you in the next video. Sweet dreams.